First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. I also want to give a mighty shalom to the Akim, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. I also want to give a mighty shalom to the elders that's been in His truth for many years, pushing it in sincerity. Shalom to you all. Now, I want to do a quick lesson. Not going to be too long-winded. I just want to get to a point. Somebody asked me a question, and asked me, after this captivity, is this our last captivity? Will we go into captivity again? Absolutely not. This is the last one. Absolutely. The Lord will, hold the end of His bargain, and release us, from our captivity. And Lord willing, if we have the number, we get the kingdom of heaven. Now, so once we get into our land, we're not going to be driven out. We're all going to be completely righteous because we're going to get the new covenant, right? But like I mentioned, this is the last captivity. Because once, the Western powers, which is what's running the world right now, the Western European powers, they're running the world right now. And, pretty much they got to go down first before the kingdom of heaven is established. So this is 2 Esdras 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Now, Esau is a biblical name for the so-called white man, right? So when you read, history, like, for example, about Herod, right? His father was, I think, Philip the Anticipator, if I'm not mistaken. You guys would have to look it up. Look up Herod, king of Judea, right? He was an Edomite, and he's depicted as a Caucasian. You had Romans, like, what's his name? Pilate, that ordered the execution of Yahushua. He was depicted as a Caucasian man. Like, some odd reason, people that look Caucasian were Romans. So, and unless we're going to say Caucasians is there's different types of sect of them, unless we're going to say that, because they're the only nation of people on the planet that looks like that don't have no pigmentation like that, right? They're the only ones. So, how can I not equate, them to be the same people that I'm seeing that's being depicted as Caucasians, and they're Romans? There's so many different historical references to prove that, the so-called white man is Esau. But anyway, he got to go down. That's the Western European powers. Once that goes down, then the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. That's why it says Jacob follows after, right? So this is our last captivity. Now, I mentioned that we're all going to be righteous. Let me get Isaiah 16:21. It says, thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. Right? So the Lord said that all Israel is going to be righteous. Why? They're going to get the new covenant. Let's go to Hebrews. Right? Hebrews 8:8. Hebrews 8:8. It says, for finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days cometh, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. All right. It says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, I regarded them not, saith the Lord. So keep going. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their minds and write them in their hearts. I will be a God. I'll be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people, right? So that's that everlasting covenant. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, meaning you're not going to have to teach, which is what we're doing right now. So this is proof that we're not in the new covenant. And every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. Does the least to the greatest of the Israelites know the Most High? Absolutely not. Let's keep going. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. Now, this is what people have to understand, right? How are we in the new covenant, but, we're under old covenant curses? That doesn't make any sense, right? We're still under the old covenant, but we're just under a grace period because the Messiah sacrifice that gave us a chance of mercy. But, the fact that we're all in captivity right now shows you that the new covenant is not implemented because God haven't forgave us for our unrighteousness, or else we'd be in our land right now, All right. The Messiah has to come and redeem us. Then, pretty much the new covenant would be implemented. But let's keep going. Hebrews 8 and 13. And that he saith a new covenant, right? He made the first old. Now which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. A lot of people will say the new covenant started when after Christ died, etc. But this is after, way after Christ, after Paul, after all this. It's literally saying that the old covenant is still being ready to vanish away. So it haven't vanished away according to the book of Hebrews. So we are, still under the old covenant. But like you're saying, under a grace period. But let me get this in Ezekiel, right? To kind of just go into like how, this all go together. Ezekiel 20. Ezekiel 20. Let's start at verse 33. Right. As I save the Lord, or as I live, save the Lord. God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people and gather you out of all the countries where you are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness in the land of Egypt. Of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, saith the Lord. So it's talking similar to Hebrews, saying that that pretty much he's going to establish the covenant and he's going to bring us into the wilderness like he did with our forefathers. And let's keep going. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. What covenant is this talking about? The new covenant. Because remember, you can't say this is the covenant in Sinai, because it's saying that he already pleaded with their fathers in the wilderness in the land of Egypt. So this hasn't happened yet. So this would have to be, the new covenant, etc. But the Lord always talks about through the scriptures in Ezekiel 36. He talks about cleansing the nation of Israel, right? He talks about doing that type of stuff. So once we're all righteous, we're not going to fall victim under the curses. One of the curses is being scattered all over, the world, in captivity and away from our land. That's a curse, right? But if we're all righteous, the laws is programmed in us like the new covenant is going to do. We're not going to go off anymore. Then, we're not going to be, subjected to the curses, right? Christ is going to come to remove, the curses, Yahushua, right? So Deuteronomy chapter 28 and go to verse 60. 61. Okay. Deuteronomy 28 verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So not being in your land is a curse. 70 AD was a curse. Scattered out of our land. That's Luke chapter 21. That's Matthew 24. Right? Scattered of our land. Like, that's a curse of Deuteronomy. You're not redeemed yet until the Messiah comes back. And that's why it says, he that endures unto the end shall be saved. Nobody's saved yet. We don't know until the end days, until, that final judgment. But either way, like I was saying, righteous Israelites, we're going to be perfect. So these curses that, we read all throughout Deuteronomy, we're not going to be subjected to them. Let me go to Baruch chapter 2 in the Apocrypha. Baruch chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse, see this. Okay. Let me see. Okay. It says, this is Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people. Our people don't listen. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. Remember, he says he's going to gather the scattered because we're all over the place. And it says the land of our captivity. So when the Messiah come back to gather the Israelites, they're going to be in the land of their captivities. And it says, and shall know that I am the Lord their God, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity. Think upon my name. Return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord, And I will bring them unto the land which I promised with the oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords over it. I will increase them, and they shall not diminish. Watch this. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their God. They shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. Right? So the Lord's not going to scatter us anymore after this, captivity. Right? Because he said we're going to call upon his name, remember him. That's what's going on, this great awakening. That's all, throughout the earth. Remember who you are and then praising him, coming back from your wicked ways. So, it's a beautiful thing, right? So, we're not going to be scattered out of our land anymore. These nations are not going to be able to subdue us anymore. Jacob is going to dwell quietly. Prophecies show that. So, I'm not going to be, long-winded. I just pretty much wanted to get to the point. Got into a little bit of prophecy. Lord willing, this was edifying. And with that, I want to say shalom.